Years ago, a group of us friends were in high school, seniors. We were friends from different places, some from New York, some from California, Texas, and even some international students studying with us. But man, there was one friend named Sam. This guy was my best friend in a way you wouldn't believe. We were inseparable, to the point where on some nights I would sleep over at his house or he would sleep over at mine. Sam was from a different state, and like I told you, our bond was like family. As soon as we graduated high school, I was devastated to find out that all my friends were scattering. Everyone was heading back home or to different states. Even Sam. I was shocked to find out he decided to head back home to a small town up in the mountains of Vermont to finish college. I tried and tried to convince him to stay and study near us, but I was surprised when one day Sam packed up, asked us to drive him to the airport, we said our goodbyes, and my buddy Sam flew out. I can't lie, I felt an emptiness you wouldn't believe. Days passed, I started college, finished my freshman year, and we had our summer break. Out of nowhere, I got a call from my buddy Sam. I answered and heard him say, "Hey man, I swear I miss you like crazy." Sam, man, how are you? What's new? Man, everything is awesome. I'm doing great, and let me tell you, life is fantastic. Listen. Do you guys have a break coming up or what? Yeah, absolutely. We've got these next 2 months off. Even better. We've got a break too. What do you say? How about you come visit me up here in Vermont? Visit you? Seriously? Yeah, man. Come stay for a week, 10 days. I swear I'll drive you all over the place up here. Show you views you've never seen in your life. Man, it's just a quick flight and you're right here at the regional airport. Barely an hour and a half from Boston to Burlington. Are you serious? Yeah, absolutely. Don't sweat a thing. Just pack your clothes, forget everything else, and consider yourself at home. You know you're my brother, Sam. I know you and your family. I know you guys are the most hospitable people ever. But look. All right, I'm down. I'm coming to visit next week. And seriously, guys, I booked a round-trip flight from Boston up to Vermont. As soon as I landed, I found my buddy Sam and 2 of his cousins waiting for me. We greeted each other, and they started driving me around the local area. Man, oh man, the gorgeous weather and breathtaking nature. We went from place to place, hung out at Sam's family's place, and lived through some of the best days of my life. 4 days went by, and I swear it felt like 4 hours. On the 5th day, we were sitting in one of the local neighborhoods, me, Sam, and a bunch of his friends. Suddenly, Sam's phone rang. He got up and walked away, and watching him from a distance, I noticed his expression completely change. It felt like whatever was on that call was an absolute disaster. He looked anxious, terrified, and started shouting in a strange way. Afterward, Sam came rushing back and said, "Listen to me, I have to head out to the countryside, a remote rural town up in the hills. I've got to go to my uncle's place. A total catastrophe just happened back home." "What's wrong, man? What happened?" "A murder. One of my cousins got killed." "No way, are you serious?" "Yes. Listen to me, man. You stay here with my cousins at the house, all right? I'm driving out to the country because it's a long drive. It takes at least 2 hours. Sam, no way I'm letting you go alone. I'm coming with you." "You coming with me? Where? I told you I'm going out to the sticks." "I'm coming with you. I'm going with you. I swear I'm not leaving you." And you guys can picture this. Sam grabbed his car keys, I hopped in with him, and we headed out toward the countryside. This rural village was about 50 miles away from the main city, meaning we had a solid 2-hour drive ahead of us. As soon as we arrived, man, all mountain settlements up here were so big.
Yeah, those tiny lights you see are just very basic setups. They either use old candles or things called Aladdin lamps. You know, old kerosene pressure lanterns that glow bright gaslight. Oh, got it. Hey, listen, where's your uncle's place right now? Right there. That's it. And that big old house over there is my grandfather's old estate. Awesome. All right, let's go. Now that we're here, hop out so you can see what your uncle and them need. And imagine, guys, the moment Sam got out, we heard screaming, crying from children and women, making it completely clear there was a major crisis going on. I can't lie, I felt super awkward. What should I do? Get out, stand there, or what? But then, about a quarter of an hour later, Sam came back out accompanied by 2 of his older uncles.
I could hear them telling him, "Listen, Sam, you've got to take all the women to the hospital so they can check on the boy. They're in total shock." And the shock of it all, folks, was that a whole crowd of women then came out. A huge group, roughly over 8 ladies. Feeling completely out of place, I stepped out of the car and heard them telling Sam, "You have to drive us to the hospital." The women piled in, about 5 of them packed into the back seat, and 2 more jumped into the front. Man, I was so embarrassed. What on earth should I do? Should I climb into the trunk? Poor Sam, with all the panic, shock, and screaming going on, completely forgot about me. He totally forgot I had rode there with him, and they sped off out of the village. Right then, one of his uncles walked up to me and started asking, "Pardon me, were you with Sam just now, right?" "Yes, sir, I was with Sam, but I guess with all the chaos, the poor guy forgot everything." "Who are you? Whose kid are you?" "I'm his friend from down south. I was just visiting him on break." "Oh, I heard Sam mention that one of his buddies was coming up from out of state." "Yes, sir, that's me." "Oh, goodness, my deepest apologies, man. With all this crazy panic happening, we completely lost our heads. Don't blame Sam. One of my brother's boys got into a violent feud with a neighbor today, and apparently things escalated to a shootout. They both started firing at each other." "Good grief, man. God help you guys. Look, just come on inside and rest up until Sam gets back." You guys won't believe it. This man took me right inside his house. The place was echoing with the cries of kids. And this guy, Sam's uncle, believing it or not, was married and had 12 kids. A whole dozen of them. The kids ranged across every age. Some 1-year-olds, some 2, 4, and 6, plus a bunch of other kids who would come over to sleep in the room down the hall. The man brought me dinner, we ate, hung out, and afterwards he said, "Let me go set up a bed for you to sleep." But guys, what I noticed was that his house was tiny. Just 2 small bedrooms, a cramped little living area, a primitive bathroom, and a kitchen. I swear to God, it was so cramped with such a massive family, I felt terrible. I can't lie, I deliberately asked the guy to step outside the house with me. I told him I just wanted to get some fresh air and take a little walk around the village, even though at that hour, practically everyone in the village was already fast asleep. I'm telling you, they pray evening prayers, go straight to sleep, and wake up at dawn. That is the completely natural lifestyle for any human being on this planet. Staying up all night staring at screens is a sickness. It goes totally against human nature. Anyway, we took a walk, and afterwards the guy said, "All right, let's head back inside so you can rest and sleep." But I told him, "Uncle, wait, I remember Sam telling me that big place over there is my grandfather's old house, right?" Yes, that grand old place was my late father's house." "Well, sir, you're currently living in this tiny cabin here. Why don't you guys move into that big estate?" "Oh, that's a long story. Ever since my dad passed away, we've kept that house locked up. We only use it for major family gatherings, like if we have a wedding party or someone in the village needs a huge space. That house is considered the largest property in the entire village, and it features an enormous great hall, a massive traditional men's lounge that can easily hold up to 200 people. That's incredible. So why did you guys lock it up after your dad, Sam's grandfather, passed away?"
Like I told you, long before our father passed, we each built our own homes. I have mine, my brother has his, and even Sam's dad had a place right behind us here before moving to the city. But we just got used to these cozy little cabins, and after our father passed, we locked up the big house and left it alone. We never even split up the inheritance or sold it. Like I said, we just use it for special community events. Listen to me, Uncle. Is that house furnished inside? Yes, it's fully furnished. In fact, it has the nicest furnishings in the whole village. Oh? And where are the keys to that place, sir? The keys? The keys are right here with me. You have them? Awesome. Look, I want to ask you a favor. You name it. You're our guest. Just say the word. Right as we were talking, a phone call came through on the uncle's cell phone. He answered and said, "Hello? Hello? Sam? Oh, right. Man, with all the chaos, you totally forgot your buddy here with us. Don't worry, though. I brought him over to my place, so don't sweat it, Sam." Thank God. God bless you. Don't worry. The guy is sleeping over here. No problem at all. Even if you're stuck out there until dawn, your friend is safe and sound. Take care. Bye-bye. As soon as the call ended, I realized Sam had called his uncle to let him know he forgot me amidst all the commotion,
asking his uncle to look after me for the night because they were going to be stuck at the hospital until morning. And guys, his uncle kept trying to convince me to go back to his house to sleep. But I told him, look, uncle, aren't I your guest? And guests are supposed to be pampered, right? You name it. Just tell me what you want. Honestly, uncle, I have just one request, and I really hope you won't turn me down. You see that house belonging to your father? I want to sleep in there tonight. The uncle looked completely shocked, staring at me wide-eyed as he stammered, What? Sleep in my father's house? No. God bless you. Ask for anything else in the world. Anything at all, but not that request. Please, man, please. Please, uncle, I'm begging you. I really want to sleep in that house tonight. I swear we spent a good half hour with me negotiating until he finally gave in, made a quick phone call to consult one of his relatives, and then walked over and handed me the key. The moment he unlocked the heavy front door of that ancient house, I swear to you, it felt like we were opening up an old tomb that had been sealed away for ages. The place smelled of a strange, heavy dampness. We stepped inside, flicking on our handheld flashlights, and made our way up to the upper floor, into a massive, wide-open hall. I quickly realized why the locals called this the Grand Dewan. It was a gigantic lounge. I'm not exaggerating, guys, when I say it was over 100 feet long.
The uncle muttered that they used this space for big banquets and village feasts. I looked at him and joked, Are you kidding me? You guys set up a banquet table in here? Anyone sitting at the very end of this dining spread would literally have to call you on a cell phone just to ask for the salt. You guys ought to hand out bicycles just so people can ride down to the other end of the table. The uncle burst out laughing at my jokes, and then I noticed he was right. The hall genuinely had rows of remarkably clean, plush traditional carpeting. I picked a quiet corner and said, Look, uncle, I'm sleeping right here tonight. I love this corner, and there are plenty of blankets right here. The uncle looked at me skeptically again, asking, Are you completely sure? Why won't you come sleep downstairs at my house? No way. I want a change of scenery. I want to experience true country living and sleep in this historic place. To my surprise, the uncle sighed and said, All right, listen, if you're dead set on sleeping here, I'm going to sleep right next door in the side room facing this main hall. But let me warn you, I suffer from terrible nightmares, and sometimes I scream out in my sleep. If you hear anything weird that creeps you out, don't worry about it. Just keep sleeping and don't sweat it. Don't worry, uncle. I'm a heavy sleeper. Nothing wakes me up. By the way, can I use the restroom? Sure, go right ahead, right through there. I figured I'd better use the bathroom then, because let's be honest, I hate waking up in the middle of the night needing to pee. But the moment I stepped into the bathroom, I was shocked to find it was intensely primitive. Just a gaping hole built into the floor right in the middle of the room, looking straight down into the pitch-black foundations of the house. A totally primitive setup. When I walked in, I only had a single small candle with me. And you know how it is when you step into a pitch-black room and a flickering candle starts casting bizarre, dancing shadows all around you? Would you believe it, guys? While I was standing there doing my business, I honestly felt like there were about 10 unseen people standing all around me, completely silent, not breathing, just staring right at me. And of course, the candle didn't help. With the cold draft blowing through, the flame flickered wildly left and right, casting grotesque shadows across the stone walls that looked like twisted entities dancing right beside me. I'm not lying. Out of sheer terror, I kept my eyes glued straight down and refused to look up. I finished up as fast as I could and hurried back to the main hall to prep my sleeping spot. As soon as the uncle left the grand hall and closed the door behind him, an uneasy wave of anxiety hit me. I couldn't explain it, but something felt deeply wrong and unnatural about this house. Even so, I fought off the fear, placed the candle right next to my pillow, and tried to fall asleep. Barely 15 minutes passed before the uncle walked back in and said, "Hey, your buddy Sam, my nephew, wants to talk to you on the phone." I took the phone and heard Sam's voice. "Listen to me, man. What on earth made you sleep in my grandfather's house?" "Oh, come on, man. I wanted some action and adventure." "Listen to me, buddy. Get your ass down to my uncle's house right now and sleep there." "What do you mean, get down there? I'm already all tucked into my sleeping bag up here in the corner of the hall." "Are you out of your mind?" "Yeah, I'm dead serious. And your uncle is even sleeping in the room right next door." "Wait, my uncle is sleeping right next door?" "Yeah, why not?" "Listen to me, man.
if my uncle left that room, you better watch out for him.
What? Watch out for your uncle? If I hear him shouting or calling out later tonight... No, if you hear his voice or if he calls out to you in the middle of the night, do not answer him under any circumstances. Man, you're freaking me out. What's wrong with your uncle? Is he a sleepwalker or something? No, it's not sleepwalking. Just as soon as my uncle leaves your area, consider him a complete stranger you've never met before, period. Man, your warnings are terrifying. Look, when are you heading back? I'll be back here tomorrow morning around 9. All right, fine, whatever. Talk to you later. And guys, I hung up the phone, the uncle came and took it back and left the hall entirely. Up to that point, things still seemed quiet. I laid my head down and tried to sleep. You know how mountain villages are? The silence is terrifyingly heavy, to the point where all you can hear are crickets and distant stray dogs. But what kept eating away at me was why Sam had warned me so strictly about his uncle. I closed my eyes, and right as I was drifting off, a terrifying thought hit me. What if the uncle was dangerous? What if he really does violent things in his sleep or has a hidden weapon and attacks people without realizing it? Driven by pure paranoia, I quietly got up and crept toward the heavy wooden door of the hall. And guys, the moment I reached the door, I felt an overwhelming wave of relief. There was an old metal key sitting right there in the keyhole on the inside. I felt a sudden rush of victory, turned the key to lock it, and left it right there in the lock. As everyone knows, if a key is left turned in the lock on the inside, nobody can possibly open it from the outside. I walked back to my blanket, feeling completely at ease, closed my eyes, and fell fast asleep. Yet, roughly an hour later, I started hearing a terrifying, blood-curdling sound. It sounded like a grown man screaming at the top of his lungs right outside the door of the hall I was sleeping in. It was crystal clear, I swear to God. The voice of a strange man yelling out, sounding almost like someone accompanied by a bunch of children. Wait, could this be the uncle? Could it be Sam's uncle? But Sam said his uncle was sleeping by himself in the other room. It must be that he brought some of his kids up here from the house. And man, those kids were clearly driving him insane. And guys, I couldn't sleep a wink for the rest of the night. The noise was unbelievable. Kids running around, laughing, and a man shouting out dozens of different names over and over. One minute he yelled for Hussein, the next for Salih, and then Khalid. Sometimes the man sounded furious. Sometimes he laughed. And other times it sounded like he was grabbing something and beating them with it. Until one massive thump slammed directly against the heavy door of the hall I was locked inside. I panicked. Should I open it? No. Sam explicitly warned me, do not open it under any circumstances. And because these old mountain houses were built from packed mud and timber, sound traveled straight through the walls like they were even there. The noise of the uncle and his kids hammering away echoed right inside my skull. Every time I tried to drift off and the noise quieted down for a moment, I'd barely get half an hour of sleep before the screaming started all over again. This torture kept up all the way until dawn, until I finally heard the faint, beautiful sound of the early morning call to prayer echoing from the tiny village mosque. You cannot imagine the immense relief wash over me hearing that adhan. About an hour later, the first rays of sunlight began to peek through. Oh, how gorgeous morning light is when it breaks through and instantly banishes all the suffocating darkness around you. Especially since that tiny candle I had brought with me had completely burned out and died around 2 a.m. The moment I saw the sunlight, the horrifying noises instantly stopped and vanished completely, and I finally closed my eyes and fell fast asleep. But believe it or not, barely an hour later, I heard a voice saying, "Hey, good morning, guest, rise and shine." I forced my eyes open to see Sam's uncle, the very same uncle who had locked me in this haunted place. Staring up at him, I groaned, "Uncle, please have mercy. You and your kids didn't let me sleep a wink all night. For God's sake, let me sleep." Sleep? What do you mean sleep? It's 8 a.m. You should have been fully rested since last night. Rested? I'm telling you, you and your kids wrecked me with noise all night long. Just let me sleep. Well, if you're going to sleep now, when are you planning to wake up? Look, just don't wake me up unless my buddy Sam gets back, all right? Just let me be.
Come on, man, get up. Let's go have breakfast. Breakfast? Uncle, please, I'm begging you. I am completely exhausted. My head feels like it's splitting open. Let me sleep until Sam gets here and has him wake me up. And the man finally gave up, shook his head, and walked out. The second he shut the door, I didn't care about anything else. I collapsed right back onto the mattress and fell instantly asleep. Not long after, I felt someone shaking me gently, saying, "Hey, wake up. Wake up, man. What's wrong with you?" I snapped my eyes open and saw Sam standing right there. I immediately sat up, hugged him, and blurted out, "Man, tell me, how is your cousin doing? What happened? When did you get back?" "I just got back a little while ago, and the first thing I did was come looking for you." "Well, how is your cousin?" "Thank God. It turned out his injury was just a minor shoulder wound. Totally fine. Even the neighbor's kid is doing well. And the elders all sat down and settled the feud. Everyone made peace. Thank God. But hey, what are we just sitting here for? Come on, get up. It's way too late for breakfast. It's lunchtime now. Let's grab some food and I'll take you on a walk around the village." We had a great lunch at Sam's uncle's house. And afterwards, Sam, his uncle, and I went out for a stroll so they could show me the local sights. While we were walking, I turned to Sam and said, "Man, seriously? Your uncle and his kids were howling and screaming all night long. Hey, Hussein, hey, Khalid, running around like maniacs. Didn't they care that I was trying to sleep right inside?" The uncle looked right at me with a straight face and asked, "Me and my kids? What are you talking about?" "What do you mean, what am I talking about? What happened last night?" "What happened to me? I couldn't sleep a single wink until dawn. Every time I tried to doze off, I'd hear you shouting, 'Hussein, sit down, Khalid,' all that running and laughing like absolute lunatics. Wait, your kids were running around outside my door all night long? When did they even sleep?" "I have no idea what you're talking about." Right then, Sam interrupted, looking at his uncle with a strange look, saying, "Uncle, come on. You and your kid should have let our guest get some sleep." But both Sam and his uncle just burst out laughing in the strangest, most unsettling way. We finished our walk, and by late afternoon, Sam and I decided it was time to head back to the city. We said goodbye to the uncle, but right before we climbed into the car, I noticed the uncle pulled Sam aside. They stood there whispering and laughing bizarrely, evidently cracking up over the weird night I had just survived in their grandfather's old house. We hopped in the car, drove back to the capital, and spent the next 2 days packing up. Before long, my vacation was over, and standing at the regional airport, I was saying my goodbyes to Sam and thanking him for the incredible time. But right while I was waiting for my boarding call, Sam looked at me with a serious grin and said, "Well, man, I hope your memories of this trip were good ones, aside from that crazy night in the village and all the noise, of course. Oh, the memories are sweet as honey, except for that haunted house and the sleepless night. Say, why doesn't your uncle ever move into that big house and live there? Listen, man, since you're heading back home, let me tell you a secret between you and me. We kept a few things from you. That old grandfather's house you stayed in, sure, it looks like a nice big property, but none of us can actually live there. Why? Because that house isn't just a normal house. That place is a school." "A school?" "Yes, exactly. Before my grandfather passed away, he used to teach students inside that very house. That's why he built separate, distant homes for all my uncles and my dad. Because after my grandmother passed away, leaving my grandfather all alone, he turned that entire estate into a place resembling a school. He spent his days teaching all the local kids. But then, one night, we started noticing strange things happening. At night, you could hear sounds, voices sounding exactly like he was teaching students inside the house. We tried to figure out the mystery behind it, but couldn't until my grandfather was on his deathbed. He called my oldest uncle, the very same uncle you met, and told him, "Listen, lock that house up, and I don't want any of you living in it permanently. You can use it or let the villagers use it for community gatherings from sunrise to sunset,
But after sunset, nobody must stay inside under any circumstances, unless you are forced to stay, in which case you must remain locked inside the Great Hall or Diwan all night long until the sun comes up. Wait, what are you trying to say? I mean that my grandfather used to spend his nights teaching tribes of Jinn, and people around here always called that place the Haunted School. Are you out of your mind? No, I'm dead serious, man. That place is famous and has quite a history in this region. But when my uncle put you in that hole, he was 100% sure you'd be safe and nothing would happen to you. Wait, you just reminded me of something else, man. Remember when you scared me half to death with that phone call last night and I locked the heavy wooden door from the inside with the key? How on earth did your uncle unlock it this morning when he came to wake me up if it was bolted from the inside? My uncle told me that when he walked up this morning, he was shocked to find the door locked, yet the key was sitting right there on the outside of the door. I swear to God, man, I locked it from the inside. Well, if the residents of the house, the teachers and the students, are the ones who unlocked it, they probably wanted to make sure you didn't trap yourself inside, so they opened it from the outside before leaving. Good grief. God damn you and your uncle, Sam. So last night I was sleeping with just a thin wooden door separating me from a bunch of Jinn tribes holding a night class? Yeah, pretty much. But look at how Almighty God made them creatures who believe in Him and His book, so they didn't harm you at all. And when morning came, they just went back to their dwellings. Man, I knew it. When I went to that primitive bathroom, I felt like someone was watching me every second. Yep, exactly. They see you everywhere. But thank God you're safe, man. Man, considering all the noise last night, I guess I accidentally slept right through their PE class. Huh, yeah, probably. You know what, man? If I tell anyone back in Boston this story, they're gonna think I'm completely insane and just making up ghost stories. But hey, thank you so much, Sam. Thank you for everything.